The House has resumed. Members, the House is involved with the first reading of the Credit Contracts and Financial Services Law Reform Bill. Dr David Clark has the call. He has just short of 5 minutes remaining of a 5-minute call.
Very much, Mr Speaker. Before I was rudely interrupted, I was discussing the gummy nature of this bill, the fact that it is a little bit toothless. It lacks the bite that we would hope a bill of this nature would have, and in fact it kind of signals at the moment that this government is soft on financial crime. We would like to see this bill strengthened. We would like to see it structured in a way that actually allows for things like interest rate limits. It seems a sensible step to take. It's something that many other countries, including France, Germany, Canada, Mexico, South Africa, Japan, Singapore, 2/3 of the United States, Australia, United Kingdom, and almost all of South America are doing already. It seems a sensible step. It wasn't just over a week ago that a select committee met in Auckland to hear about the Sky City bill, the deal funded out of gambling debt, and there we heard stories of people who had to pay 25% interest on day one on debts from loan sharks supplied by those visiting the casino, and they were facing 25% on day one. Mr Lotuinga of Mangakeke was there hearing these same concerns. No doubt he is concerned about the gambling bill because a number of people have identified him as someone with community that will be affected unduly by that bill. But what we heard was that not only is there a 25% charge straight off for these loans, but that builds over time. These loan sharks are unscrupulous and they destroy lives. They prey on people who are vulnerable, who do not have enough money to feed their families from week to week, people who are suffering under a government that doesn't seem to care about dropping employment, about the way in which median wages are dropping, about the rising cost of living, and about the average New Zealander who is working hard, wanting their family to get ahead, but is facing increasing financial hardship. This bill here is designed to address something of this issue. It is designed, we know, as a response to the issue of loan sharks. It attempts to get in the way of the truck shops and the payday lending, but we think, as a Labour Party, it doesn't go far enough. We're going to support it to the Select Committee so that it can be then discussed, so we can have the discussion about whether or not an interest rate charge would be allowed. And we are hopeful that the government will allow the scope of the discussion to cover off that debate. It would certainly seem fairly short-sighted if the government cut that debate out, and that would give a strong signal that it was indeed keen to be soft on financial crime, on those kind of moral crimes where people prey on the most vulnerable in our society, those kinds of crimes that people in other countries, and most OECD countries, have clamped down on. The government has allowed this bill to flounder on the order paper. That's the other thing that needs to be said, Mr Speaker, for 5 months, on top of years of inaction, to the detriment of our nation's most vulnerable. In 2011, the Consumer Affairs Minister, Simon Power, announced that the government is to target unscrupulous credit companies that prey on unwary consumers, and he also said there are gaps in the system that allow the unscrupulous to take advantage of the unwary when it comes to access to consumer finance in these tough economic times. Those are quotes, but it doesn't seem to have been much of a priority for this government. As I say, 2 years have passed and we are only now seeing this first reading of the bill. We would like to see a government that focuses on those most vulnerable people, that focuses on job creation, that recognises rising unemployment, the struggles of those in the regions, the two-speed economy that's emerging, that seems to be a response to a government with no plan, a government that really takes seriously this kind of loan sharking, that looks to create a law that holds those accountable, that restricts their ability to prey on the most vulnerable, a government that cares for the people. It seems it will be up to the Labour members of the committee to put these proposals forward, but we look forward to having that debate in Select Committee. This is a bill that needs to be strengthened.
Jan Logie.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.